Good evening and welcome to the Hemingway Jones live fountain pen show, to our little corner of the internet where we talk about fountain pens, inks, journals and journaling, and just about anything and everything that's going to keep you inspired, keep you writing, keep you focused, and to hopefully entertain you and make your life a little better. Hello and welcome. Nice to see everyone here. See lots of thumbs up flying by. Thank you very much, guys. That helps to make YouTube happy. We have to keep YouTube happy as well as we move along. So thank you so much. And if you watch each week and you haven't subscribed, please do. I'd love to have you on this journey with us. So a fun show is in store for you tonight. We defend the humble, the often maligned medium fountain pen nib, and speak a little bit about that. And I think I have eCam sorted out, at least temporarily. So we'll see how it behaves. I'd love to show you a little bit of the very particular medium nib on the Waterman Reflection of Paris, which should be a lot of fun. I see a lot of the usual suspects are here. Is Anna Paradox here? I hope so. I see Ali J is here. Anna Paradox is here. The member with the coolest name, perhaps. Anna Paradox. Love it. Love it. Awesome name. So, I think one point I like to make each week is that if you buy a new fountain pen, I will be there to celebrate it with you. But I'm not somebody who's pushing pens on you. I don't care if you buy something or not. In fact, we're going to talk a bit about that this evening. People's alliances and the strange sort of bedfellows that it creates. So we'll get into that a bit. I just want to keep you inspired in thinking of fountain pens in new and interesting ways, different things you can do with them, different ways of appreciating them. So there you have it. Oh, I see John Manuel's here. Hello, John. John helps me to run the channel, especially the Pen Pal group. We have a Pen Pal group for Cognoscenti and Illuminati members, and John helps me to keep it going. So thank you, John. Lovely to see you here. And I should also say, if you're watching the replay now, on Tuesday night, there's a very vibrant chat. Sometimes there's 600, 700, 800 posts in the chat on a Tuesday night, which is pretty amazing. So it's a lot of fun to be here. But if you miss it, the replay's there as well. So here's a wonderful person I can recognize. The fantastic, the amazing, the supportive, the generous Marcus Souza with a $35 super chat, helping to keep the lights on. Thank you. The lights are burning brightly tonight thanks to Marcus Souza. Thank you for all you do. Thank you for the super chats as well, guys. I appreciate it. I appreciate you all for being here and for watching. Very cool stuff. I see a comment here. Did I lose it? They go by so quick. Oh, man, I wanted to put it up, but it was something along the lines that they're shocked that people would dislike medium nibs. Yeah, they get a lot of hate for being boring, but there's very few things that don't get hate, really, online. It's a rough place, the internet, ladies and gentlemen, but we managed to make our way through it. Okay, I want to do something pen-related right away. Then I'm going to speak a little bit about some interesting things that are going on, some stories in my life, and some improvements to the library. So we have a lot to talk about. But I want to start off with something I showed you last week and an update. So, ooh, look at that. Second camera's working. I can bring myself. Oh, look at me. I'm in a circle. Wow, I'm in a nutshell. How did I get in this nutshell? Oh, boy. Okay, so this is the Lochby zippered field journal. I don't think they've named this yet, but it certainly addresses the fact that the other one we were worried about things falling out of. So, but I said something last week that it didn't have an internal pen holder. I said, because I didn't see one. But Lochby actually did watch my show. Remember I said that they don't watch my show? Well, evidently they do. Or at least Emma Ding did. And she said, that's what this is for. It's out of the way, and it doesn't add extra bulk. So how about that? So there's a nice space for your pens here, but, you know, I am a pain. I am Hemingway Jones. I do like to challenge things. Here's my pen holder. My Lochby Quattro. I'm just branded Lochby tonight. This is what I call the best of pen cases that I found so far. But that's just so far. So I like it, but I don't love it. And the reason I don't love it is that I think it's a touch too small. And I do tuck in the clips because I feel like they could scratch if they were all together. Not that that's a big deal. But it's not bad. I think 2 pens is perfect for me. I actually stagger 2. This is what I carried to work with me today. So, does the Lochby hold a 149? And it does not, ladies and gentlemen. It does not hold the mighty, the girthy, the slightly massive. Let's just say the 149 did not skip leg day. This is a very fit pen, and it does not fit in the Lochby pen holder in any way, shape, or form. So, it does have a pen holder, but it's not going to fit your 149. And it's just like me, isn't it? That I come along and I find the pen that doesn't fit, but that's what I do. I am a provocateur. I just like to poke a little bit, poke around. You know, not everything's perfect. It's fun to look at things, to challenge things, to lift them up. Lochby actually listens to me. As a matter of fact, they designed this. No, they didn't. Wouldn't it be great if they designed it because I told them to? But no, that didn't happen. I did make suggestions. I don't know if it made it into the finished product. I could pretend and say it did. But alas, I would be misleading you, and I would be remiss to do that. Okay. But there you have it. Karen says size is not everything. True, performance matters. And in this case, this fountain pen is a performer. This is the mighty Mani Blani. Let's see if anyone can guess the ink. You want to play a game this evening? Let's play a game. It's called, ladies and gentlemen, in the comments if you're watching the replay or live in the chat. The game is called Guess the Ink. Okay? Shouldn't be that hard. You know me. I don't use that many inks. Guess the ink color. Can we see it? You know, it might be hard if you can't see it. I'll do my best. I'll bring it up to the camera. This is a luxurious medium. I missed that downstroke. Nib. Wet. Flowy. And if you're very light-handed, line variation. Look at that. You see how light that is? These are gradations between, you know, a little light. And so if you're like, you get very nice. So, very nice. So what do we have? Can you see it? You know, it's not great at focusing. Lille de Tay, no. Pearl Noir, no. No, there's a bit of the... There's a bit of the... Bring a little more light in. Do you see it, guys? Do you see it? Let me see if there's anyone guessed. It's not Pearl Noir. Let me see, guys. Midnight Blue. The Metacognitive Diaries. Ding, 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 ding. I wish I had a prize for you, but alas, I do not. But well done. Boy, I made a mess of that page, but it is indeed Midnight Blue. So, once upon a midnight blue. Once upon a midnight blue. Great color, beautiful pen. So there you have it. Anyway, you know, what is it? Whose woods these are? I think I know. He lives in the village, though. Do you guys know your Robert Frost better than I do? I was thinking about it's stopping by the woods on a snowy eve. Are you guys familiar with this poem? Let me see. When I put Once Upon a Midnight Blue, it made me think of this. It's a short poem. Robert Frost, okay? I'm just going to read it because I find this really interesting. Whose woods these are, I think I know. His house is in the village, though. He will not see me stopping here to watch his woods fill up with snow. My little horse must think it's queer to stop without a farmhouse near. Between the woods and frozen lake, the darkest evening of the year. He gives his harness bells a shake to ask if there's some mistake. The only other sounds the sweep of easy wind and downy flake. The woods are lovely, dark, and deep, but I have promises to keep and miles to go before I sleep and miles to go before I sleep. So, I know we're down a rabbit hole, but I hope you expect that from me. This is a really interesting poem because it's often, I think, somewhat misconstrued to be kind of a someone drifting into really dark thoughts, being sort of seduced by the woods and wanting to kind of dissolve into them. And I don't think that's what it is myself. I think there's a lot of interesting clues in here. I'm just going to run through them really quickly. So bear with me. I'll be off this very soon. But, you know, this guy stops by these pretty woods. And then he thinks, well, who owns these woods? I know who owns these woods. But he's not a person of the forest of out here in the rural area. He lives in town. And it almost seems a bit like he's somewhat begrudging him. Because he owns these woods, but he doesn't seem to really appreciate them, right? He won't see me stopping here to watch his woods fill up with snow. This seems to be a sublime moment for this person on their, I guess, carriage or their horse. It doesn't really say, but there's a lot of other interesting things in the next stanza, okay? And I think art asks questions. It doesn't necessarily answer them. It asks questions and creates tensions that you as a viewer and experiencer of it, experiencer, is that okay? I think it is. Try to resolve, or at least for yourself. And that's that moment of sublime appreciation, if I can borrow my own term from a second ago. So my little horse must think it queer to stop without a farmhouse near. That asks a question, right? The horse must think it's queer that he's stopping without a farmhouse near. So to me, the person who's watching the woods is somehow connected to multiple farmhouses. So does he make deliveries? Is he some sort of a person that's assessing farms or dropping off supplies? There's some kind of connection where he does our rounds. Maybe he's delivering mail. Although I get the sense that it's nighttime, but there's nothing in here that says it's night. But I guess because he's saying, I have promises to keep and miles to go before I sleep, makes you feel like it's later in the day. But, you know, it doesn't say that overtly. But just, this person is somehow connected to rural farming. So, he gives his harness bells a shake. So once again, kind of a commercial vehicle, right? Or a horse. It has a harness bell. A bell would also be on it if you were in town a lot and you need the bell on the horse so the horse doesn't run into someone. I'm extrapolating here, but I would think that maybe this person passes through this liminal space between the village and the rural farmhouses. But he certainly gets seduced by this beautiful moment where he's appreciating the beauty, but he knows he has all these responsibilities before he can sleep. So, fascinating poem. I have no idea why I got into that. I guess all because I thought of Once Upon a Midnight Blue. I should do a video on that. Really? Anyway, okay, we're back. We better get back to pen content or I'm going to lose everyone. Did I lose you guys? Let me know. Give me a thumbs up if I didn't lose you. How's that? All right, good stuff. Let's get into something interesting. Right, I got something for you. I want to talk a little bit about videos. So I released a video last week. You may have seen it, perhaps. It was 5 fountain pens that are better than the Montblanc 149, which consequently made me pull out my 149. Now, I'm amazed at some of the stuff in that video and how it was... the reaction was overwhelmingly positive, which was just brilliant. I can never tell which ones are going to resonate with people and which ones aren't. I'm really glad this one did. It was very much a thought experiment. And I think it's very, very valid to make these kind of arguments that a fountain pen like a Lamy Safari could challenge a Montblanc 149 on many different points. Not just writability, but design, its place in history, originality, all these different things. It could compete directly with the 149 and perhaps even surpass it. Now, I made that argument in my video, and I think it was very coherent. You could disagree with it. I actually encourage you to disagree with it. And to do so politely is appreciated. What I was surprised about is, some people, a couple comments, a handful of comments were like, it's stupid to compare a 149 with a Lamy Safari. Is it? Is it? Is it really? Is it really? I think any two fountain pens are, by their very nature, subject to comparisons. And the more disparate that they seem, the more I would want to compare them. Because I think through contrasting and challenging ourselves, and even a challenge for me was, can I make an argument that the Lamy Safari is a better fountain pen than the 149? Can I make that argument? And actually in 2 videos, I feel like I did. It doesn't matter how invested I am in that argument, because I love both of those pens. But to me, I think it's valid. I think there is a very good case that the Safari's that good. And I think you could make the case for a lot of different pens. But the thing is, this sort of brand, identification. I'm a Montblanc fanboy. I don't remember how much. I'm looking up because there's a shelf above me now. I'll get into that in a minute. I have the Montblanc Inspire Writing coffee table book. I don't remember what I spent on it, but it might have been $200. That's a stupid amount of money for an adult to spend on a book about pens that he already owns. Now, I don't regret it even this much. I am a Montblanc fanboy, but it's not ingrained in my personality. If you love Montblanc and you tell me, that's great. It's fun to speak about the different pens that we like. Maybe I own them. You might own the same one. If you hate them, I don't care. I can respect that. I actually think that sort of painting with a broad brush, any brand, I hate X brand, is a little simplistic because I haven't used... I feel like I have probably tried every Montblanc in the last 15 years, except maybe a handful. But could I hate the whole brand? That's just odd to me. And then there are also those folks that were taking the other tact where Montblanc's so ingrained that they felt like they need to defend them. Like, I spent $1,000 on this pen. I have to defend that Hemingway Jones says a $35 pen is better than it. I need to get in there and tell him that he's dumb and all this. But it's like, you know, Montblanc is not, they're not going to reach out to you, user 759166725. They're not going to say, wow, thank you so much for defending us against this video, user 5879169. I hope those numbers just matched. Type they're close. Thank you for defending us. Boy, you really defended Montblanc. We just think you're great. I mean, that's like the type of person that walks into Trader Joe's and thinks that the cashiers really want to be friends with you. They don't. I'm sure I can make a gentleman's club analogy too, but I'll leave that out of it. But you know the one. So it's like, I love brands. I love heritage. I love history. I love Montblanc. I love the history of this pen. But my personality is not ingrained by it. I'll challenge it every day of the week. I went after Lochby. You guys remember, I did a a pitch meeting where I made so much fun of Lochby and how lazy they are with their special editions. Just slap a different color on it and pretend it's something new. Everything is open game here, and all in the spirit of fun. I don't understand the anger and the vitriol. It's thinking exercises. It's just in good fun and sportsmanship. So relax, guys. Me criticizing your fountain pen is not criticizing you. The only people I went after in the comments are the ones that attack me personally, or some person said that I was taking money to attack Montblanc, which is stupid. No one pays me to make my videos. And if anyone ever does, well, except the members, you guys support me to make these videos. But there's no brand or company that's paying me to promote or say anything. And if they ever are, and that day comes, and I'll tell you what, if Skillshare, well, actually Skillshare did want to, and I didn't do it, right? You remember that whole kerfluffle? I don't know. If Montblanc actually came up to me and were going to pay me $1,000 to produce an episode of my live show, it would say paid promotion. I would disclose it, and I would do it because I would be proud that Montblanc would invest that kind of money in me. If Lochby did it, same thing. But it's not happening now. And no one's paying me to say anything against. And if it ever did, you guys would know way in advance. So don't attack me personally if you get a little upset that I'm attacking Montblanc, whoever it is. Because this week we're attacking someone else. And I'll tell you about that in a minute. But first, I need to recognize Rick Harsh, the lovely, the talented Rick Harsh. Hi, Rick. How are you, buddy? How you been? You doing good? Awesome. $5 Canadian. Thank you, my friend. Well spent 2 days in the hospital for 2 days. A big slip on the ice. Oh, come on, mate. Be careful. So sorry. Oof. Big slip on the ice. Transported to the hospital by ambulance. Paramedics got on my journal and pen when asked. Wow, that's so nice. I'm so glad. That trip would probably bankrupt you if you lived in the United States. So I'm really glad you fell there and not here. So I'm really sorry to hear that. And I hope you're doing better, my friend. I'm assuming you are. You're joining us live. So I hope you're on the mend. Slipping on ice, by the way, is no like thing to laugh at. I have wrecked myself on the ice. I have bags of ice melt to make sure my daughter never takes a tumbler outside. So you do have to be careful. So very, very good. Okay. So I'll reach out to you, Rick, and make sure you're doing okay, brother. Because it worries me. Hitting your head is, I don't know if you hit your head, but it can be so bad. It worries me, freaks me out. Okay, let's talk some more stuff. Let's talk about the next pen I'm going to pick on. So it's funny. It's not a consequence of last week. It's one of those happy coincidences. But last week we poked some fun at the Montblanc 149. We came up with 5 different pens that are better than it. But this week we are going to take on the Visconti Homo sapiens. And this was part of a series. But what's interesting about this video is that this is 5 basically reasons why it's great and 5 reasons why it's terrible. So it's called Visconti Homo sapiens, worth it or not worth it. So it's on trial for its life, the Visconti Homo sapiens. That video, Thursday at noon. So thanks for the likes, guys. Appreciate it. So that one's coming. So by the way, the Visconti Homo sapiens was one of the pens that I offered as better than the Montblanc 149. Here it is with me now attacking it. So it's all fair game. It's all fair game. And I'm not always attacking pens, because actually in this video you can say I'm attacking it, but I'm also lifting it up. 5 reasons why it's terrible, 5 reasons why it's great. And by the end of it, you're going to know more about it. You're going to see some awesome B-roll. It's going to be a lot of fun. And I think you really enjoyed the last one, so I think you'll like this one. And then I think next week, I want to see what's up for next week. I think next week is a bit of a break with some breaking programming. Kind of, let me see. No. Oh my gosh. Oh boy. Oh, I can't even tell you. Next week is epic. Epic. So next week is about an epic fail. A pen that just did something embarrassingly stupid, but managed to be awesome at the same time. So you're going to love that. That's next week. All right. So we're having a great time here, I think. Oh, yes. Okay. Oh, wow. Look at this. Rachel, thank you so much. $4.99 saying, for the light, stay awesome, Rachel. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Thank you for the super chat. I'll try to be awesome, and then once I get there, I'll try to stay there. But it's a bit of distance, but I'm trying. So I'm trying to be entertaining, trying to make original content for you guys, trying to grow with you and go to some interesting places, Rachel. So thank you. Thank you. Thank you. All right, let me tell you a quick story about the library. So where I am, I call it the library. I call it the Hemingway room, not named after me, but named after Ernest, because the original design for this room was inspired by Ernest Hemingway's room in La Finca Vigia in Cuba. And these shelves used to come to here like his. And I had my desk, and I was like, this is neat. I think I had a cowhide rug. I was trying to do the Hemingway thing. And then quickly, we realized we had way too many books in other places of the house, so we got these higher shelves. And then these were getting overloaded. So here, I put up 3 new shelves. After I painted the walls, 3 new shelves up there. So we went to IKEA on Saturday, and we went in and we had Swedish meatballs because my daughter wanted Swedish meatballs. And then the fire alarm went off. And my daughter has a really strong fear of fire alarms, which is good. That's a healthy fear. There are unhealthy fears and healthy fears. So she said, we got to get out of here. And I'm like, you're right, we do. But there's meatballs. But we do need to get out of here. So they said it was a code 1000. So I asked one of the workers, what's a code 1000? And she says it's when somebody trips a door when they're not supposed to and it sets the alarm off. So I was like, okay, honey, it's okay. It's not a fire. And then they said, oh, we're having trouble with our alarms. We'll have them reset in a minute. So then we were able to calm down, finish our meatballs, and tour the rest of IKEA. We picked up a few things. We actually found out that I can put another kind of thinner shelf over here. So there's going to be yet another shelf in this room. I'm going to put typewriters on it. So that is super fun. Allie J says, I don't blame her. The sound is awful. I don't either. And, you know, my daughter's smart. And I didn't want to dismiss it. I was like, you're right. We got to get out of here. But then we didn't have to, but we would have if we had to. And Jim Edwards with a $1.99 super chat. Thanks, Jim. I really appreciate it. Thanks for the support. I really appreciate it so much. Thank you. So we walked all the way through IKEA, and then we got downstairs and we picked up a few things, tiny things, and then they were out of the white bookshelves like these. So I was really upset, but they said they were coming in on February 1st, and I was there on February 1st. Kate loves the meatballs. Me too. Love meatballs. And I asked the gentleman, hey, it says that you're sold out of these. Do you have them? And he took me to the end of the aisle, and there they were, piled up, piles and piles of them. So I bought 3 of them. Everything else, put it in my Jeep. I have a Jeep Cherokee, Grand Cherokee. Put the seat down. Carefully drove home. These heavy shelves in there. Once I was home, pulled them out, built them. It took about 45 minutes to build the first one. I'd say a half hour to build the second one, and like 12 minutes to build the third. You know, you get better. And I kind of wish I had that experience, but to get better, you know, quicker. And then I had to put holes in the beautiful new wall that I painted, but I did it and I secured them up there. So now there's only one thing left to do, and that's this desk. This desk is going to get swapped out for one that's smaller and has drawers and things that I can fill up with ink, so I'm not kind of busting out into the shelves. I'll show you what I mean. If you look at me now, this is, you see that? You see all that? This is me like spreading out away. This is my desk. It ends here, but it's kind of all here too. You can keep a pen over here. All kinds of stuff. So what I'm getting is a secretary desk with all the drawers and things. Be a little smaller, and I'm not sure how I'm going to be able to film with it, but I think I'll be able to sort that out. And there's other tables I can use for the live show. Spoke about this last week a little bit. But I can put inks in there. I can put correspondences. I can put a lot of stuff and take more pressure off of these. You know, stuff's going over there. And it'll just be a little more aesthetic too, because you need to romanticize your life. You need to romanticize these moments. I want my library to feel a bit like a cell, almost like St. Jerome in a cell, you know, like some ancient place of learning. So when I sit down to write, I have that calmness and that center. I want to feel like I was in my university library again. I want that. So I think that desk will be really interesting. So I saw one on Overstock that I liked, and I put it in my cart, and it was $1,400 and change, and they marked it down to like $1,000. So I don't want to pull the trigger on it yet because I'm trying to space things out, but they took so much money off it. Now I'm just wondering if I shouldn't just pull the trigger. So let me know in the comments and in the chat if I should pull the trigger. Actually, it was Wayfair. That's where it was. It was at Wayfair. Should I pull the trigger or should I wait? I was going to wait until the end of the month because I need to paint the dining room, and I'm kind of freshening up the house. We've been here for a decade, and I'm making it more ours and a little more interesting, a little more aesthetic. And plus it'll make for great backgrounds in videos, even though that's secondary, but still. But let me know in the chat, let me know in the comments if you think I should pull the trigger. HR Diaz says, I need a Resolute desk. Well, you know, it's funny, like an executive desk doesn't work in here. This space is not that wide. So this desk is like 50 inches. And the new one is more like 48. And I think it's 48. And I'm kind of happy to gain a bit of space. So there we have. A pick of the desk. You know, I don't really know how to share a pick on Ecamm without ruining how great my continuity has been so far this evening. But I would like to. But it's a secretary desk. It's wood. It has all these drawers and spaces for ledgers, and has 2 drawers down the bottom. Has plenty of leg room. I'm 6'2". Someone called me little in the comments. Little. Like, I'm 6'2", 200 pounds. I don't know how little I am. Maybe it's little to them. Who knows? Who knows? Okay. Andrew says get an antique. You know why I'm not going to get an antique, Anne? I'm having trouble finding one that's not wrecked. Even with my wife in the business, it's really tough to find one that's not a little bit messed up. And where this is kind of in the center of everything. And as it was my old desk, as much as I love it, I've had it for years, it's kind of destroyed. And that's part of the reason why I want to change it. So it's kind of tough to find one in the kind of condition I would want to find it in. J.R. Diaz asks, is it a roll top? It's not a roll top because you lose a lot of space with a roll top. Roll tops tend to have a very small writing surface. And I need space to film. I need to have an overhead camera of some sort and all that. So roll top usually only gives you a little bit of desk space. So it is not. Any secret doors? I'm not sure. Maybe. I really don't know. Not that I'm aware of. JDJ, what do I do for a living? I am a senior vice president of commercial lending. I run a $1 billion portfolio with a group of lenders, and I report to a very talented guy. And we are community bankers, which I'm very proud of. And I'm in banking, and I have been since 1986. So that's what I do. I looked at some shaker design. Didn't really work for me, but it would be nice. So, okay, let's get back to some stuff. So I wanted to show you last week my medium nib. This is a medium nib, by the way. This is a medium nib. This is the Waterman Reflections of Paris. This is a fountain pen I bought for myself. And I get very inspired by Waterman. I do like the brand. I like the whole Paris thing about them. I love this pen. It writes brilliantly. And it has a fantastic medium nib. So this got me thinking about medium nibs and how they're often considered boring. It's a Quran, of course. Did I mention that? It's got some kind of accent. Maybe it's that one. Oh, look at this. MNJ83. Thank you. With a super chat. Thank you so much. $5. Thanks so much. Bought 2 Scriveners a month ago and just ordered a Reflections of Paris to use as my EDC. Did I jump too far ahead? No, you did the right thing. Waterman is the way to go. Well done. I'm very, very, very pleased. Very, very pleased with you. Well done. And thank you so much for your generous super chat. So this Waterman Careen has a medium nib. Like many Waterman medium nibs, it's a bit straight-sided. I don't know if you can tell here, but it's a bit wide on the downstroke and a bit light on the up and side stroke. So it gives it a bit of sort of like a mini stub a little bit at its best. And it's a blast. It's smooth and it's inlaid, which I really love inlaid nibs. I can't get too close to the camera. It'll go out of focus. That's why I'm staying low. But I think you can see it okay. Beautiful inlaid nib, medium. Now, people will tell you these leak, but I don't know if they do or don't. Here's the thing, and I'm going to go off again. So I'm going to go off on a rant again. Do Watchman Curran's leak? I don't know. I only know that I have two. I have an amber one I've had for 20 years, and I have this one that I've had for, 3 weeks? Neither of them have ever had an issue, but someone somewhere said these leak. Visconti Homo sapiens have QC issues. They do. That was checked. There's data. I don't know the data on this. I do know that when you have an inlaid nib and you fill it, ink gets under it. So you have to be careful. You have to clean it very, very thoroughly, including these side spaces. Also, you cannot, I don't mean to tell you what to do, so I hope I don't sound like a scold. So forgive me for being so frank with you. It is preferred that your fingers do not creep past, this point. If they at all creep onto there, you can have an issue. So stay away from the nib completely. If anything, maybe anchor your hand up here. That's where I'm comfortable. It's very nice. By the way, this has cap catches that are unobtrusive and beautiful, unlike the very ugly Lamy 2000 cap catches, which are sticking out wires and are just awful. Even though I love the pen, but it's awful. But Watchman knows how to do it. This is how you do it. So you have to clean it. Maybe that's why it leaks for some folks. I don't know. I don't have the data. I'd have to collect it from sources that I trust. I am very data driven. I don't believe stuff unless I experience it myself or I get the data. Now, I could ask my friends at pen shops. Brendan Schmidt, Tom Otto. I always want to call him Odo, I'm sorry. Like Komodo dragon. I'm terrible in pronunciation. I think you guys know that. But you have to get data to know for sure. Sometimes somebody like me once said it. And like an influencer who said something. And then a lot of other people parrot it sometimes. That happens. That's why I don't really watch a lot of other channels in my space. Because I do find that back when I did watch them, that people would become almost like an echo chamber. Someone would say something about something, and then you would hear it in other people's reviews. And I don't like to be a follower. I'm a contrarian. I like to be original. I can be a little obnoxious. I can be a little strange sometimes, but I'm not boring and I'm not a plagiarist. So I have that going for me. By the way, I'm totally beguiled by this cap right now. Do you see this? Do you see how beautiful this thing is? How it shimmers? It's so great when you buy one for yourself. I bought this completely for myself. Karen J. McClellan says a penfluencer. Possibly. This is Pots and Pans calls Robert Oster Robert Oyster. You mean it's not Robert Oyster? That's fantastic. I love it. So in using this, I am just sort of remembering everything I love about medium nibs and why. I think medium nibs are a bit of a Goldilocks nib because as much as I love fine nibs, and I do, medium nibs are where the ink shines. Yes, this is where the ink is free to express itself in its full form. That's why medium nibs itself. It's hard to speak and write at the same time for me. Yeah, extra fines are fantastic. I love little filament lines. I think fines are nice too. It's roughly equivalent to sort of ballpoint and roller balls. It's that kind of generic line, but it's brilliant and it's great when you're doing penmanship. You can write with precision and everything else. But if you really want your ink to have character, you need to at least have a medium nib. It's just brilliant. It's sort of the baseline where you trowel your ink. You don't just draw a line, but you push a puddle of ink along. That's the strength of character. These are characters. I'm a character of a medium nib. Kind of digging this tea right now. Kind of fun. So I think that stubs are fantastic, but you don't always feel like writing with one. Sometimes it just seems a little too stylized. And if you're signing your name a lot, as I do, at work all day, people bring me stuff. Can you approve this? Can you sign this? By the way, this is not my signature, but it's kind of becoming it because I like it. But it'll never be my legal signature. But it's fun because I can put the Hemingway Jones signature into it too. I kind of like that. You get me and my NumD internet in one signature. That's not bad. But I just feel like the criticisms that these are boring might be somewhat warranted because I get it. It's medium, it's midway. But boy, it can really bring out the character. I'm going to do a video soon on this. I'm going to Paris this year, I believe. It'd be fun to do it there, but I'm not sure I can wait that long. I mean, here's another fantastic medium. So much character. Very cool. Love it. There's my true handwriting. You know how we talk if you write fast? That's kind of your true handwriting. You're unabashed, unguarded. That's it. I sometimes make words like characters. I do that with like the sometimes where it's like it's almost like a character. You ever do that where you don't lift your pen off the ground at all, off the paper? Have you ever done that? See, it has a lot of personality. It's messy, but it's kind of interesting. You know what I mean? Boy, I'm going through a lot of paper. A lot of nice paper gets used on this show, doesn't it? I'm going to do a little bit more of my actual hand. Am I going off on too much of a tangent, guys? Let me know. Bring me back to earth. But I think you like this stuff. By the way, listen to that scribing noise. So smooth, too. I don't know. I like it. Am I nuts? Is it kind of cool? Is there something sort of liberating about writing sloppy? Is there something that sort of exposes a bit of your actual character when you don't care? It's freeing in a way, guys. I don't know. It's kind of how I feel it. Oh, look at this. Look at this. I have to recognize some lovely folks with some amazing super chats. The mighty Benjo. Hi, Benjo. How are you? It's been a while. Nice to see you here live with us. What does Benjo say? Benjo says, and he's kind enough to offer a $9.99 super chat. Thank you, my friend. You already do so much for the channel, so thank you. Benjo sets up the Zoom meetings that we have sometime for the members, which we should probably do a Zoom meeting again sometime soon. He says, I'm thinking March, guys. Let's do something in March. Remind me, okay? Benjo says, I do not believe the leak. I think the fingers touch the nib, so if you hug the nib, you will get ink on your finger and you think it's a leak. Same thing with the Pilot E95. Love the pen. Thank you. Thank you so much. I think you're right. I'm sure Benjo is speaking about the Waterman Quran and its inlaid nib. And no, you cannot touch it. You can't get anywhere near the nib. And you also need to clean underneath it when you fill it. But thank you, Benjo, for your generosity. I appreciate it. Similarly, Sean Brown, the mighty Sean. Thank you. $5. Thank you. For the Paris Fund. Thank you. I really appreciate it. I'm going to do some epic B-roll, and I found my lapel mics. So I'll be able to do some on-the-site commentary, which I think will be super fun. So thank you, Sean. I really appreciate it. Very kind and generous. Speaking of kind and generous, the amazing, incredibly generous Michael Rowley, who I forgot to thank last year right before our break. I did get to thank him personally after the fact because I was like, oh, I can't believe I blew it. You were so generous. And now here you are again, my friend, with a $19.99 super chat. Thank you. To keep the lights on and restock paper. Thank you. I really appreciate it. It means a lot. So I appreciate it. Okay, so a couple things, kind of important. Can't believe how quickly these hours go. One is this week's video is 5 things awesome and 5 things terrible about the Visconti Homo sapiens. So I think you will enjoy that. If you liked 5 fountain pens better than Montblanc 149, I think you'll like this. Also, evidently, there's a new community feature here at YouTube, and I've turned it on. I don't know what it does yet, but I think you guys can actually speak to each other here at YouTube somehow. On the community page. It doesn't have to be initiated by me. I'm not sure about that, so if you could go to the community page, see if you can post something, because I'm not entirely sure how it works. Many people here will tell you I am not the most technologically adept. I do try, but I don't do very well. German Huerta. Hemingway, do you know when the new wave of colors of Lamy Safari fountain pens come out this year? I don't, but there were new ones that came out about this time last year, so I feel like they're due. But I don't know. Lamy, I don't know Lamy. I never spoke to anyone from Lamy, so I just don't know. So, sorry. Okay, well, look at that, ladies and gentlemen. We've done it. Another episode of our podcast. It's like a podcast. There's a way of making these into podcasts. I should look into that. I don't know what then happens, but here on YouTube, you can call it a podcast. But it's kind of like a podcast. But always fun to get together on a Tuesday. Thank you so much. I hope you had a blast tonight. I sure did. I felt like this was a really fun kind of laid back episode, and I haven't had one of these in a while. So I hope you enjoyed it as much as I did, and I'll keep making some interesting stuff. Here's some Anna Wanitia. I love the community board. I have one too. It's like a mini blog. Oh, okay, cool. I don't know what to do with it yet, but I'll take a look at it. Maybe you guys can take a look too. So there you have it. All right, guys. I appreciate you all being here. I'll see you all next week, and I'll see you Thursday with the new video. So thank you all so much. Much love, and I'll see you further up the road. So take care.